I strongly suggest you don't ever talk of justice again. Well, dear me, my good fellows, dear me. A well-deserved round of applause for quite a marvelous performance. What are you talking about? It's delightfully good that beautifully pronounced Queen's English. Really, our friends from the Far East are quite the picture of industriousness. Please, don't misunderstand. It really is exactly as you've both said. What are you trying to say? I have occupied the dark recesses of London's underworld. How did you put it? Done nothing? I confess, it's a little embarrassing to have pointed out quite so starkly. But yes, I really have done nothing. Which means I can be indicted for nothing. What? It's true. Personally, I have committed no crime. I've merely been surrounded by those who've acted very rashly indeed.
Objection!
You can't get away with that. You consistently preyed on people's weaknesses. And what? Threaten them? Are you sure it wasn't just bargaining? I would like to address all the good lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the judiciary here present. You all know these darker recesses in our great capital, and deep down I believe you also know that to fight those who dwell there requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. So let me appeal to your good sense now. Consider the situation with me. If this catalogue of horrifying revelations were to become common knowledge among the 6 million inhabitants of London, what might happen? To learn that the infamous murder of Royal James was a respected member of the aristocracy himself, that evidence was fabricated in Scapegoat's trial, and that secret negotiations were pursued against the affected Gerald, the Reaper of the Bailey was one of the most assassins managed by Scotland Yard Inspector, and finally, that it was all masterminded by the Lord Chief Justice himself. If the general public of Britain knew the truth, all faith in the police and the prosecutor's office would be completely lost. Without doubt, public order in the capital would completely break it down, would be cast back to the lawless days of the last century. Precisely as it was 100 years ago, when 1 in 10 of the population were criminals. Think what we've accomplished since then. A public policing force, a comprehensive set of laws. And if we want to continue to protect this new era of law and order, I say again, we must at times occupy the darkness ourselves. We have successfully identified and apprehended the man responsible for taking Inspector Crimson's life. That is all that was expected of this trial. That was all that was expected of this trial. All these other matters that have been discussed will be eliminated from the minutes of these proceedings in the interest of preserving law and order, and to protect Her Majesty the Queen of Courts. Well, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, what say you?
Yes. The thing is, what's wrong with it? You can't deny that the threat of the Reaper over the years has done wonders with the crime rate. And by fair means or foul, that's all it takes to look strong.
This is the will of the British judiciary? Rousing response, friends. I express my heartfelt gratitude. Therefore, in accordance with the overruling wishes of the court, the record shall be manifest.
Objection!
And make people listen to reason. That was the easy part. But what do I say next? As a man who has fought many battles in this very courtroom, let me offer some advice. Objections need substance behind them, otherwise they are merely objectionable. The defense has no objection to being penalized in this instance. Fear not, Miss Nardo. I certainly won't object if you decide to make perhaps a wiser choice now. Yes, right. A wise choice, of course. Here it comes. This I know only too well. The only thing that carries any weight in court is hard evidence. But, Miss Nardo, what evidence is there to use at the stage of the trial? I have an idea. I don't know whether anything would come of it, but if there was ever a time for using this particular item on the evidence, it's now.
Take that!
Oh my, yes, Mr. Sholmes asked if you had that with you earlier. We've exposed all of Lord Strongheart's wrongdoing. No doubt that Mr. Sholmes had already deduced exactly how the truth went from. So I think it must be time for the great detective to take center stage, don't you? Yes, absolutely. Let's take the hares by the ear and heave. Alright, here goes. Heave! Ow, 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 ow. My dear fellows, must I remind you every time, a gentle tug will suffice. Mr. Sholmes, you're looking in quite the wrong directions now, because I'm over here. Ah, Mr. Nardo, he's... It's Mr. Sholmes. What? I wasn't expecting you back, Sholmes. Delighted to be here. Oh, Mr. What is the meaning of this? Bailiff, seize him. Put that man in irons. This is a close call. We've been warned once already.
What the? We can't get hold of him. We just get right through.
I'm afraid your efforts are wasted. You see, the great detective you see before you is composed entirely of light and shadow. An image, if you will. Mr. Nardo, I must congratulate you on your fine deductions. Mr. Sholmes, what on earth is... Are you familiar, I wonder, with the invention known as the telephone?
Well, yes. Yeah, some public telephones have been installed recently, isn't it?
The sound of the speaker's voice is converted to an electrical signal and transmitted instantly to another place. Quite. Sounds are transmitted. So, could not images keep them company, I was and I did some modest experimentation to develop such a device specifically for this very day. Modest experimentation, Mr. Sholmes. What a modest description. And somewhat incidentally, I thought we might just as well transmit an entire signal. Somewhat incidentally, Mr. Sholmes? Now you're just being honest.
Do you mean to say you're not actually here, Sholmes?
I knew my trusty partner would have no trouble grasping the concept. Except he's grasping the stand to steady himself after your sharp arrival. Poor father, I would have hoped he might have been forewarned being the great detective's great partner. Leave my courtroom at once. Get out, or I swear to you. Dear me, you, on the other hand, Lord Strongheart, appear to have a very poor grasp of the situation. Allow me to reiterate, I am not here. Which would, I hope, lead naturally to one asking, where exactly are you? The very question I was awaiting. I am at present enjoying the air in a rather splendid garden. Garden? Not just any garden, you understand. A garden at Buckingham Palace. What? You can't be. Buckingham Palace. What's Buckingham Palace, Mr. Sardo? I've never heard of it. Do ever read the news, Mr. Nardo?
Mr. Sholmes,
Is Iris with you there? Well now, Iris is currently enjoying some tea. With Her Majesty. Her Majesty? Not just any Her Majesty, understand. Her Majesty, the Queen of the British Empire. What? What on earth is this all about? Buckingham Palace is Her Majesty. Majesty the Queen. You can't be... I mean, no. This is some sort of unforgivable, distasteful trickery by a third-rate detective. That's all. Unforgivably distasteful trickery. What an absurd. A close concession attended by elite members of the ministry is a rare thing. I presume Her Majesty more than usual cares about the proceedings. So, I decided to show her everything from start to finish. What? You showed her? Indeed. By dint of Herlock Sholmes' remote cinematograph. I guess. This is some nightmare. Just as I have been standing before you, regaling you with talk of my latest invention. No doubt you inferred that the reverse is also true. You don't mean. Her Majesty has seen and heard every moment of the proceedings. I assume there would be no objection. After all, every trial in this country is conducted under the auspices of Her Majesty, as you know. I confess, I am quite impatient to hear Her Majesty's opinion about the unforgivably distasteful trickery in which you've been engaged over the past 10 years. No, I was merely... Oh, I'm so sorry to keep you all waiting. Vicky and I had so much to talk about. Iris, there you are. In fact, I have a little message here from Her Majesty. Message? Well then, if everyone is sitting comfortably, forthwith and with immediate effect, all authority previously afforded to Max Stromborg is hereby revoked forevermore. Furthermore, he will be prosecuted for crimes against his country in a public trial by jury in the coming days. So, it seems that Her Majesty doesn't need to fight fire with one. Justice in this country needn't be administered from the shadows at all. Neil Stromborg. The darkness you fostered to conceal your despicable actions these last few years is a thing of the past. After today, your brand of law and order has no future, because no longer are you the Lord of Justice. In the eyes of the law and of Her Majesty the Queen, you are nothing but a criminal. Adjourned! 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 The court is adjourned! Oh, that's convenient. Oh man, he is so unbelievably guilty. Also, uh-oh. Clint Van Zieks left a will in which he confessed to everything. When those words came out of his severe mouth, it deranged me completely. I knew I must do anything and everything in my power to contain the situation. But I couldn't find the damn document. I searched his cell, but it wasn't there. It precipitated the jailbreak plot. What do you mean? Need to obtain her will was all-consuming. I was sure that if I facilitated Azari's escape, he would emerge with the will of some anonymous person. But despite searching his dead body in the center of my writing, it still eluded me. It never even crossed my mind that it was concealed in the sword's hilt.
concerns me now is that my brother left this world without a word to me. I'm sorry, Lord Van Zieks.
In point of fact, I think perhaps that isn't the case.
Sorry? How can that be?
There is more to his last will and testament.
What?
As I confront the prospect of my demise, I feel bitter regret for my younger brother. Darak, you have always looked up to me, and now you follow in my footsteps to become a prosecutor. It is my fervent wish that my unspeakable deeds should not hinder your advancement. I ask not for understanding, for none could understand my depravity. I ask only for forgiveness. Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final two wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my will. Clint Van Zieks.
Clint. Male Strongheart. You colluded with Seishiro Jigoku in a criminal plot so immense it spanned the oceans, and you cold-heartedly murdered all those who knew the truth about what happened 10 years ago. But why did you set about that now, a whole decade later?
To ascend to the very peak. These last 10 years made me realize being the Lord Chief Justice wasn't enough. Short of becoming Her Majesty's Attorney General, I could have no real power to effect the changes needed in this country. And for that promotion, I needed to ensure no remnants of the past remained.
How could you?
I like everything to run smoothly in the exact manner that I prescribe, like a well-oiled machine. And I was just a step away.
And for your ambition to succeed, did you even bother to count the number of brilliant people you had killed?
Ah, Mr. Reaper, are you not forgetting something? Such as... You're very much adopted your usual prosecutor-like demeanor in the proceedings now. But the reality of the situation is that you are the defendant in this trial. Ah. However, the presiding judge would appear to have fallen from the bench, as it were. May I suggest, therefore, that we entrust the final adjudication to an old friend?
My lord.
As a member of the judiciary, I have been following the proceedings from the gallery. And I must say, I shan't ever forget the extraordinary battle between good and evil that I witnessed here today. The darkness that has blighted justice in our land these past 10 years has at last been dispelled, thanks in no small part to the efforts of a bright young star from the east. Defense Counsel Nunn. Yes, my lord. On behalf of everyone here present in the Old Bailey, I give you my heartfelt thanks. You're too kind, my lord.
The first time I faced you in court, just under a year ago now, I had the faintest of intimations that if British justice, so warped and twisted over its long history, was finally to know change. This might just be the man to do it.
What?
But at the time, I wouldn't allow myself to acknowledge the possibility. I couldn't overcome my hatred of the Japanese after the circumstances of my brother's death. Mr. Naruto, allow me to apologize for countless discourtesies on my part. You are a lawyer of boundless talent. best friend, Kazumasu, who led me here to Britain in the first place. My loyal and ever-patient judicial assistant, Mr. Sada, who helped me study to become a lawyer. Brilliant Lord Van Zieks, who never failed to challenge his enemy's rival. And not to mention, the exceptional master of logic and reasoning, who showed me the true art of deduction, Mr. Sholmes. Saving the best for last, Miss Nado. What a relief. I'm well aware that without all these people's help and support, I wouldn't be where I am today. The truth is a guiding light that always leads to happiness. I've lived by that principle for a long time now. But actually, it's not true. The truth can also cause great pain. Sometimes even leave people on the brink of despair. For that reason, there are those who feel the need to hide the truth, do it instinctively. But as soon as we allow our eyes to settle on something other than the truth, the darkness takes hold. And from there, it grows, until eventually it makes us blind to the guiding light of the truth altogether. So that's why it's my belief that we must all resolve never to avert our eyes from what is just and true. So that we can continue to walk the straight and narrow path ahead. Well, I must excuse myself now. But before I go, Miss Nardo, let me compliment you on your grand efforts. What? Without your beautifully composed case against Lord Strongheart, Her Majesty would have been unable to act. Thanks to you and your fellows, the haunting undertones corrupting Britain's justice system have been silenced. Thank you very much. So, until our paths cross again somewhere. Well then, it will appear that this long trial has finally come to an end. My apologies for any anxiety caused, my lord. I'm quite sure we shall meet again here in the courtroom before long, Prosecutor Baron Van Zieks. In conclusion of these proceedings, I hereby declare the defendant Barak Van Zieks not guilty. That is all. Court is adjourned. November, 4:21 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. It really is all over. But did I sacrifice too much?
Mr. Nardo, I really must congratulate you. It was a truly, truly splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for you.
Oh, thank you very much. But I really couldn't have done it without you at my side through it all, Mr. Sada.
Your kind words mean so much to me.
It really was a very splendid show, that one. I'd have thought you'd be smiling from ear to ear, but you look rather blunt. Of course I'm delighted about the verdict, but in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure that's what a lawyer ought to be doing.
Oh, in that case, I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Van Zieks' smiling face, everything will seem much better.
Yeah, good luck with that. Mr. Sado, everything seems worse. He has a face like thunder.
Oh dear, I really shouldn't have presumed.
Mr. Yes? Almost a year it's been now since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. Almost a year it's been now since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. For you to have risen to the level of excellence you've demonstrated today, was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. But that was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Only those with steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You made fine work of establishing that fact in court today. Oh, thank you.
What magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Cousin Osama would have a smile on his face at this very moment if he were here.
Mrs. Sato, there's another face like thunder here.
Oh my, and he really was here.
Lord Banzies. Allow me to congratulate you on your Congratulate me, or curse me. You failed to bring down the Reaper. I owe you an apology. No, it is I who should apologize. Your father Genshin. If I had been stronger, then perhaps I made an unforgivable error of judgment. I can offer no excuse. And I can offer no forgiveness. That said, I suppose you fought for justice and the truth. For that, at least, I can't withhold respect. The words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear.
Cousin Osama.
I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Glan Van Zeeks wrote before his duel with my father. Asui is a fine detective.
Asui is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final two wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my plea. Jin Van Zeeks.
What can the second of his final wishes have been? That your father agreed to honor, you mean? I think perhaps I might be able to shed some light on that. What?
Father.
It was 10 years ago, as you know, the day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Why aren't you putting up more of a fight, Genshin? If you'd only agree to it, Seishiro and I would gladly petition the government.
You've been through this already. You don't need to worry about it. Anyway, Eugen, I have a favor to ask of you. Something of great importance.
You're one of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, it's soon been done.
I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once, in secret, and tell him no. You'll find a lady of the gentry in hiding there.
Lady of the Gentry.
She's not in a good way. She's mature. The birth is imminent. As a medical man, I'd like you to attend to her. Please, you're her only hope.
By any chance, is the child yours, Genshin?
Don't be daft. It's a favor that was asked of me by a man that I knew, as his dying wish.
My goodness.
I swore to the man that I would help, that I would do whatever I could for his wife and his unborn child. But if something should happen to me, I need to ask you that same favor. You're the only person I know that I can truly rely on.
What did you say? If something should happen to you, tomorrow night you're going to be...
You never know that, do you? What life will bring.
All right then. Tell me the address. I'll head there at once. With Seishiro and That very night, I caught a train from Paddington to Dartmoor in Devon. I found the old house in the middle of nowhere it was. An old hunting hound lay asleep in the grounds. The poor woman was on the floor at the back of the darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her waters to precipitate the labor before she weakened further, but it was a torturous birth. I did everything humanly possible for her and her child. And in the end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life into the world. But tragically, my efforts to save the mother's life were in vain. I held the healthy newborn girl in my arms and wept for longer than I care to remember. Eventually, in something of a daze, I looked around the room. There was precious little in it, but an old travel trunk caught my eye. It had clearly been well looked after over the years, made of top-quality leather with fine stitching. But it was when I saw the emblem on the side of it that everything dropped into place. B for Baskerville.
Baskerville?
You mean the woman was the wife of Lord Glenvenseeks? That's right. The newborn was his daughter.
But that makes no sense. Why on earth would Clinton entrusted the child to my care in that case? I was completely unaware that he even had a daughter. I suppose he didn't really have any choice. What? Well, your brother said that he confessed everything to his wife, so she must have been beside herself to worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were ever to be made public, the girl would be forever branded as the daughter of the infamous mass murderer. Ugh.
So the only solution was to distance the young girl from Vance's family as much as possible.
I can't believe it.
I imagine that in his final hour, Lord Glenvenseeks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, this Japanese man here is someone I can trust. I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later, I was summoned back to Japan, and without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't obtain permission to take her with me.
How awful.
I was completely at a loss. In the end, I had to ask my great friend. I asked him if he would be a father to her.
That being Mr. Sholmes,
Yes. He took one look into my eyes and agreed to it on the spot.
he has a heart of gold.
Really, all that can be said that I did for the child was to give her a name. No? When I'd come to Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I gave the little girl.
My wife's neighbors, Mikitoba. In other words, the name of my mother. I am Mikitoba.
Oh! That's right. I am, or in English, Iris.
Iris. I had no idea.
Ouch!
Mr. Ida, what's wrong?
This little thing just pinched me on the behind, through my trouser pocket, hard.
Oh, my dear fellows, can you hear me? Mr. Sholmes, is that you? Ouch! Yes, yes, we can hear you. You see what excessive tugging can do. Let that be a lesson to you. Mr. Sholmes, we weren't able to think properly before, but you were simply marvelous. Your checkmate move was a stroke of genius. Indeed it was, wasn't it? Haha, I surpassed myself, I feel. It had become apparent to me that to stop the Lord Chief of Justice would require such measures. Oh no! Susie! Oh, Iris. Oh, I'm so pleased. What a wonderful outcome. Her Majesty Queen Vicky said she thought my special blend was delicious.
Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brews a more delicious tea than you do, Iris.
It's Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too.
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't. Reaper of the Veil, flustered by a 10-year-old girl. Again.
No, really? Oh, pooh.
But I give you my word that I shall present myself at your residence in the near future to express my gratitude.
Oh, how lovely. You've promised now. I won't let you forget. Bye for now, then.
Alright, Iris. Thank you for all your help.
Oh, that was nothing. Just come back home soon.
Ouch! Ah, one final pinch goodbye, wasn't? So, obviously we're like right at the end of the game, so I'm going over. Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Van Zieks, would you care to accompany me? Certainly. Mr. Naruto, allow me to once again express my deep gratitude to you. I believe you saved my life. Wait, Lord Van Zieks? Yes. What do you intend to do now? Clearly, I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office.
Oh, no.
I intend to publicize the full truth about the professor case. Once that's done, the Van Zieks family will be ostracized completely from London society.
Surely not.
So as soon as I am free from my employment, I shall leave the capital. Oh, I see. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. Are those the actions of a man once feared as the mighty Reaper of the Valley? I beg your pardon. For the past 10 years, you've endured that pseudonym and been cast into the dark forces yourself. Now that you've finally been freed from that disrepute, your battle is just beginning shortly. Well, I certainly never expected to hear those words from your lips. I waited a very long time to come to London. Now I'm properly here, I intend to learn all that I can. Anyway, goodbye for now, Run Superior. Mask. Seems as though he's really matured suddenly.
He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruto. Well, I think we should make our way back to Baker Street. We must help Iris with tonight's dinner.
We must. It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. November, 6:25 p.m. Sholmes' suite. I'm home. Ah! I'm tiny. We've been waiting ages, Odo.
How time you got here? We've been waiting ages, Odo.
What are you doing with that colorful piece of history?
It's a party, innit?
Thought I was going to go off with it behind. I mean fireworks, ideally.
But then you ain't got fire. Smoke's the next best thing, ain't it?
There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think.
Right. I'll remember that.
You don't have to reload that thing every time I speak.
You really must hear this. It's quite the most extraordinary thing. I'll show you it will defy your expectations. Hit down every detail now, Mikatama.
The whole thing's going to reveal his partner with the tale of his adventure. A sight to behold.
Would you care to hazard a guess? Where do you suppose the fiendish runaway had concealed himself? Would you believe? Inside the trunk, I found abandoned his cabin.
I would believe it, yes.
I say, Mikatama, I get not a hint of surprise.
I wonder why that is. Maybe because I was there at the scene as well, Sholmes.
What? You were? That's why then why the deuce didn't you say so before?
Not quite the sight I was expecting to behold, but still. It's hard not to feel privileged to see it. Hello, Mr. Shones, Professor Nikotova. I'm finally back from the Bailey.
Not a moment too soon. A feast prepared by Iris and Mrs. Sutter awaits.
I must say, I haven't seen Susanna looking so happy in a very long time.
Oh, really? There you are. Dinner is on the table, everyone. Please do come and take a seat.
How are you feeling, Boots?
Goodness, is that really true, Gina?
Yep, I'm losing the conqueror's clogger and going back to what I know best. It's a diver's life for me. It's a diver's life for me.
We'll really live in the police force? But why, Gina?
Well, the boss ain't around no more, so...
Oh.
Anyway, no matter how hard I try, Reaper ain't never gonna accept a diver's from Dick, is he?
People can change, you know.
Ah, yes. That reminds me. I rather thoughtfully offered to relieve the bailiff of this now defunct piece of evidence.
Eh?
It's in the inspector's pocket watch, and the crown is pretty attached. That watch was his pride and joy, a symbol of his great achievements at Scotland Yard. For 10 years without fail, he measured every second of the man's remarkable career.
Now, it's stopped.
Someone needs to keep the memory of Inspector Gregson's career alive, by taking on the great responsibility of winding that watch every single day again.
Yes, someone with an equally fast detective spirit.
It's called me. I ain't no one else.
Quite right.
I mean, after all, the boss was... Oh, he was my boss.
Yes, Ginny. Yes, he was.
Why? And I made you a promise, didn't I, Iris? That I'd become a proper detective one day and track down your old man. Oh. Alright, he's decided. We'll do it. And I swear. I'll find your dad and bring him in, kicking and screaming. I'm not entirely sure that would be appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to, well...
I think I'd like you to forget that promise, Ginny.
Eh? Iris?
Well, obviously I've always wondered about who my real daddy is. Of course I have. I wanted to know where I've come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I've caused such a lot of trouble trying to find out. For so many people. Hurley Bruno, Professor Mickey.
Oh, no, not at all, my dear. Really, you owe no apology to anyone.
Well, anyway, I've decided to give up on it. Because I finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters what his name is or where he's from. Don't you agree? Hurley?
Oh. With every word, Iris.
Thank you, Hurley. Thank you, Daddy.
I think we could have it. Yes, Jones? I think that I ought to express my gratitude to you. Oh. For 6 years, you and I solved many a mystery together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude for our good services. But a moment ago, I heard the most pleasing expression of gratitude of them all. And I should never have experienced it. Were it not for you. You old softy Jones. But I must confess it's a weight off my mind to hear you say it. Well then, I think this calls for a lengthy violin recital, wouldn't you say?
Oh, well, the food would go cold, that's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley?
Are you sure a week is long enough, Iris? Even amidst the most troubling of cases, even revealing the most shocking of revelations. Returning in the evening to this suite of rooms, there's always warmth and happiness to be had. The home of the world's greatest detective, and my home too, with my greatest family. 4th of November, 9:37 p.m. Carl Legal Consultancy. This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had some unforgettable experiences whilst I've lived here. But I think now, the time has come. Time to bid this place farewell. Naruto. Oh, Professor. Are you alone? I didn't hear any sound from Susato. Yes, Susato-san went to the dinner. She took a carriage. Something about an important matter she needed to take care of. I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier. Oh? With Iris, I mean. When the subject of her father came up. Clint Van Zieks. I made up my mind many years ago never to tell her who her real father was. It's what was agreed with Genshin, after all. Clint Van Zieks' final wishes before he died, you mean? Yes. I've had to take some rather drastic steps at times to protect that secret, you know. Calling Susato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example. That's why. When I read Suseki-san's report about his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. You'd stumbled across the crux of that terrible case, the dog's collar. The description of the Baskerville insignia left me in no doubt. Baskerville. If you decided to investigate that insignia, sooner or later you'd have made the connection to the Van Zieks. And to make matters worse, Susato knew of the unpublished story as well. The story that Iris had written based on my notes from the time. Yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Exactly. It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of a huge beast of a dog being used as a murder weapon. A dog with the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. Armed with those two clues, I feared you and Susato might arrive at the truth. So I invented that story about having collapsed to justify our leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in aid of halting any investigations you and she might have been contemplating. I see. Something I've never understood is why Susato-san came across that manuscript in Japan, though. You know, Iris is the Hound of the Baskerville story, Shom sent it to me. That was before Susato left Japan. He was very troubled about what should be done about it, you see. I'd read it and carelessly left it on my desk, which is where Susato came across it, of course. It was the only case Sholmes and I ever pursued that I didn't record in meticulous detail. I was stunned when I discovered that young Iris had pieced together so much of it from my paltry notes. Sholmes and I discussed the matter and decided that we couldn't allow the story's publication. At that point, I returned the manuscript by post to Sholmes for safekeeping. So he did all that to stop Iris from finding out the truth about her father. That's right, because Sholmes had told me how astute she'd become. However, having witnessed events in court today, I must say my opinion has somewhat shifted. Well, I think at some point in the future, the time will come for Iris to know the truth. And when it does, I believe it will be for the best. I think so too. Actually, Professor, I wanted to talk up to you about something too. Judging from that expression, I'd say you've come to a decision, have you? Yes, I have. I will be returning with you to Japan. Are you quite sure? I'm really only here as a substitute for Kazuma. But he's here in Britain now, as originally intended. Locum student Naruto doesn't really have a right to stay, I think. see. Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February, my becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susato-san, and Mr. Jones all gently pushing me in that direction. I spent the best part of a year immersed in this world, but always aware of a seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in that courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was sure I could see the trials through. And at the end of it, I finally realized no one else chose this path for me. I chose it myself. The path of a defense lawyer, eh? Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I'll be going back with you to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life. Well, it sounds like you've made quite a resolution then. I have. Very well then. I must say, it's extremely welcome news. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow, but I don't imagine we'll depart for a few days. Not with the symposium having been cancelled. Such a shame. Never mind. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities in the future. Well then, I'll bid you good night. Susato-san. I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Did you, hear what your father and I were discussing? I'm sorry, I did, yes. I couldn't help it. Oh, how much did you hear? Well, from the part about Iris's real father, I think. In other words, from the beginning. So you've made up your mind? You'll return to Japan and continue working as a defense lawyer? Yes, I'm sorry, I really should have consulted you about it. I did want to earlier this evening, actually, but it had already gone out. No, that's quite alright. I already knew that it's what you'd decide, Nahara-san. You did? Susato-san? Ah, yes! I suppose this means it has to be farewell soon. I suppose. You'll be a great help to Kazuma going forward. I mean, I know he's a brilliant lawyer, but he's new to the British courtroom. He'll certainly benefit greatly having a brilliant judicial assistant at his side. I'll do my very best. I wish I could say it, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me. After all, she was always supposed to be coming to Britain as Kazuma's assistant. It's growing late. We should both try to get some sleep. I'm sure you must be exhausted after today. Oh, yes. You're right. Before I retire, let me just say one more time. You really were quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thinks of you as a substitute or a locum should be ashamed of themselves. Susato-san. Thank you. November, 5:42 a.m. You're really leaving then, Runa? I'm afraid so, Iris. Thank you so much for everything. I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea. I wish you weren't going. But you have to come back and visit. Say you will. Of course, I promise. Well, it was a very brief evening, but it was a pleasure to pursue a case with you again after so long. For a while, at least, it felt like old times. Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something to be said for it. Having a little fun once in a while. I'll just go and say goodbye to the professor as well, I think. All right, Iris, you do that.
スサトさん
I've just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Actually, I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't you?
Sorry?
Ryunosuke.
Ryunosuke. Spent months saying Ryunosuke. I'm not changing it now. It's too set with me.
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
Do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital, but,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
Me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor. I'll stay in Lord Van Zeek's tutelage for the time being, but before long, I intend to be just as formidable as the Reaper himself.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ryunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
Karuma? Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen what's inside me. The demon that reared its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector, but it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days. While I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me. To slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always. Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on, I wonder if I might follow it at your side, unless I'd be a burden.
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? Or when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba?
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for etiquette, aren't you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked. But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting. So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me. Ah!
What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno! Your ship's about to leave!
Time to go then. Look after yourself, Ryunosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword. One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could, Ryunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country. What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes! Would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, that sounds wonderful! I can't wait!
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
The ship, with our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes's face was alight with joy. The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection!
Until we meet again, Bruno.
And there we go. The Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 are done. Wow. What a time. Those were a couple great games. I'm thoroughly inundated with inquiries about my reports and transactions today. But I'm no purveyor of electoral goods. What are the promised closed code secrecy? Anyway, I've decided not to talk about this model. To do until in distant times. Empire to pat perhaps. I understand that order of passing there's no charge whatsoever. I gave a little note to Hurley the other day. Just said, "Thank you for everything, Daddy." It made Hurley cry. And I gave him some lotion I'd invented as well. Dye his hair red safely. But he said that might make him cry too, so he'd rather not use it. In those days, when I was known as the Reaper, I felt your presence at my side. Once unable to bear the burden of that looming pseudonym, I even retired from the courtroom. Despite everything, I still wear your prosecutor's badge with pride. The darkness that once beset me is no more, as you too. In the words of a young foreign friend of mine, I must stride forward toward a brighter future. What's nothing out for me, I can read every letter now. A to Z, the whole lot. It's cleared a lot of stuff up. The boss was trying to protect me, see? That's exactly what me and Chief Inspector Toby are going to keep doing for London. I only wish I could have seen how grateful I was before you did it. Gina, truth is, I'm not the obscene fella you think I am. I might be died by her heart, but it's a good heart. Even Mordecai, that I need to be true to myself. I've got one more job to take care of before we start talking and let me down to the foreseeable. And then, I've got to complete your education in your reduction of the break series, I say. Your Excellency, this man is accused of illegal entry into the Officer of Minister for Foreign Affairs. Objection! Public overstatement overruled, Mr. was this Scottish Council of Defence and women are forbidden to enter the courtroom? And really, my friend Tusada-san is in the British courtroom all the time and doing a wonderful job. Perhaps I should have engaged the services for regular legal team. Is it true about Japanese people? Are they experts at filleting corpses? Yes, they are. Fish corpses, on the whole. I'd like to hone my own filleting skills. You don't mind, do you, Mama? Yes, I do. I'm not a corpse yet, am I? No. I'm glad. Here I am, again, in Great Britain, on the invitation of my dear old university friend. He sent me a very nice letter saying he'd like to show me around now that everything was settled. But what have I done? I was so excited I picked this bird hotel, and now I can't afford the bill. Oh, Barrack, come to my rescue again, please! I wish I could just vanish into the thin air sometimes! When I went to make the wax of the question of the killer in cemetery. Nope, that's Russian. But even in the witness stand of the highest court of the land, I can never speak of it. This is the Lord Chief Justice and I am keeping bargains. For a faithful reproduction of this message, there is nothing to be too specific. Still as bad at the French accent as always. The French accent as always. So yeah.
Here, everyone calls me Gossip. I sell just little tidbits to pass by, you know.
Hey, everyone calls me a Bambino. I sell the spaghetti to more red than my head.
Hey, everyone, they call me... No, I cannot do it. This is ridiculous.
Italia, Germany, I made lots of new friends house. Yes, and when we're reducing, we're all going to strike it rich together.
When I was accepted on the foreign study tour, I knew exactly what path I had to take. However it might have ended, I knew that I wanted you there to see it. If I ended up in the dock, there's no one I would have rather had defending me. But now, thanks to you, there's a new path I want to take. I'm sure we'll meet again in the courtroom, my friend. Until then, I leave Caramon in your care.
I've made some tea now, Alyssa. It's important that you rest while you can. Once we arrive in Japan, we shall be busy establishing your new office. I'm so delighted to be accompanying you. After all, your talents have been recognized by a great detective. Because you really are the greatest of lawyers. Great ace attorney, some might say. truly a wonderful, wonderful game, and a wonderful 2 games, honestly. I had a lot of fun with these. Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with these. This was great. And yeah, so after this, we're going to be playing Professor Layton, which there are many games in that series now, so we'll have a long way to go for that. There's plenty that we can do in terms of that series, so that'll last us a long time, including, I mean, there was one that was just announced as well. Yeah. I'll have to set that up for next week. I need to figure out emulation and stuff like that, because I'm not used to that. Hard to believe that I've been doing this, I've been playing these games since I started Twitch streaming. The 2 Great Ace Attorney games, I mean. Well, not quite since I started, but since I started streaming on multiple days, I think. So, it's a pretty big deal that we're done with it. Raid a friend of mine, and I will see you all on Saturday, I think, barring any further conflicts or anything. But yeah, I think I will see you then. Bye. Great Ace Attorney 2. Resolve. Alright. Have a lovely evening, everyone. And I'll see you all very soon.